Hey, howdy. Well, I'm gonna pause on Bookworm Adventures because I am, to be honest, I'm really not enjoying it that much. It's interesting for sure, but it's kinda dull. Maybe I'll keep playing someday, but now's not that time. Anyway, we move on to the next one. And this one is going to be a fun one. It's Zuma's Revenge. And it's one of the few that's still available nowadays, and it's also one of the newest. I say one of because there's still a few more we got to get through before we get into the EA era where everything came crashing down. But I mean, it's Zuma. This game rules, so I have no qualms about playing this one. Especially when a level goes that well. And I'd use the custom cursor, but there's this really obnoxious issue that I don't know how to fix. Actually, let me turn down the sound a little bit, because it is a bit loud. There's this really obnoxious issue with all of the PopCap games that I don't really know why it happens, and I also don't really know how to fix it. That all custom cursors have this weird screen tearing effect. And it definitely doesn't seem intentional, and it also, I don't know if it's a hardware thing or what, but it's consistent across almost all of the PopCap games. But this game is kind of a weird case. For those that have never seen this game in their lives, this is basically Zuma with a story mode. Or a story mode more than, oh, beat the levels. Because in this game, there are 5, Tiki robot masters, for lack of a better name. There are just 5 Tiki masters that you have to beat because... reasons? You came to this island and you weren't supposed to, and they got upset. So now I have to murder all of them. But there's new stuff, because this game is... again, it's one of the more recent ones. And I know recent is... recency is relative, especially when it comes to PopCap, but... there were some, there were some hints of more modern features, like high res. And I tried high res, and hang on. Yeah, it's right here. It's not supported on my machine, unfortunately. What a shame. Maybe if I get a higher end machine, I'll be able to use the high res mode. That is cute. I forgot there were checkpoints. That does make this... it makes it a little bit easier, and it also makes me scared. It's that kind of thing of like, oh, if they're giving me checkpoints, that means that there are going to be some particularly devilish levels later down the line. But yeah, I've almost made it to the end of the list, and once I make it to the end of the list properly, I'm gonna go back and do a bunch of the games that... and get less coverage and just do full playthroughs all the way through. Because again, who else is going to? I have this sort of like, this sense of archivist pride almost, of like, if I won't do it, I don't have faith that other people are going to, so I may as well. Not to say that I'm the only person that I trust with this, because that's just narcissistic, but like, to a certain extent, there's a reason why only a few of these games got fully remembered by time and got preserved by EA, and it's because they were the moneymakers. But these games that weren't moneymakers, EA seems content to just let them completely fade away into obscurity. And I don't want that to happen. Because besides the obvious angle that these were games of my childhood, it just feels wrong that a company that now owns the rights to these games is just willing to let them sit back and let them completely fade away. Not forever, but to a point where they're even harder to find than they are right now. Because what if Steam didn't exist? If Steam, like, through some freak coincidence, Steam goes down permanently. Valve files for bankruptcy for some stupid reason. And then suddenly, all of these games that were on Steam are now completely inaccessible. And that includes all of PopCap's catalog. Well, I don't have faith that EA would rebuff these games on their own platform. Because it's wasted effort, because who the hell's gonna play them? If I'm an EA executive, and something like this happens, I would look at the sinking ship and I would grab whatever's most valuable. So I would grab Plants vs. Zombies, I would grab all the Peggle stuff, or, pardon me, Peggle and Peggle Deluxe specifically. None of the goofy promotional stuff because no one played it. I would grab Zuma, I guess. Zuma's Revenge, definitely. And then I would just leave. Everything else, well, it's not my department anymore. It's just sad, because I firmly believe that, oh, right, this. I forgot that was a thing. I firmly believe that archival shouldn't be a partisan thing, and it also shouldn't be an economic thing. I firmly support the Wayback Machine. Katiki Khan. Elders tell of a lost city in the jungle, where a stone demon takes the heads of men, none who go ever return. I forgot there were bosses in this game. Bonk. You dared! How dare you! Bring forth the balls! Oh. God, that frame. It looked goofy as hell. Oh. It's a little sketchy. And he's already dead. You broke my mouth. My tongue's hanging out like, all like, yeah. My fur brothers will avenge my tongue. Ribbit. Bonk. And he's just dead. We have killed one of the guardians of the temple, we have killed one of the guardians of the island, and we will kill again. get a good combo like that, the level is over super quickly. Mama Maka? And I'm probably not going to do a full playthrough of this game unless I just breeze through it in one go. I think I might end up breezing through it in one go, to be fair. This does not seem like a ridiculously hard game. It seems kind of tricky. Especially since I imagine, like I said, once you get into the later sections, I expect it to get really rough. Because I remember the original Zuma, and the original Zuma had some teeth near the end. Oh, right, this! Another new mechanic. The ability to just hot swap between different lily pads. Which kind of trivializes a lot of these levels. I imagine they're gonna get trickier, but for now, damn. That was really fast. Oh, I got an achievement. I got a 20x chain. I both love and hate that Steam achievements make a sound now when you get one. I hate it because it's kind of annoying when it pops up. But at the same time, it is fun for watching other people's streams and gameplay when they just get achievements out of the blue. There's a certain comedic element to it sometimes. I can wait a second. But I mean, at this point, I'm just thinking about what games I'm going to play after this. I have some ideas, but also, if you have games to recommend yourself, feel free to recommend them, and I'll run them by my own library to see if I have them. I mean, from there, I'll consider whether or not to actually play it, if it means I have to get a new copy. Oh, aces for time, I see. The music is very chill. But I doubt y'all can even hear it, because I have it down super low. Maybe I'll raise the volume in a moment. Oh. Whoa. Something else that I've realized that I kind of have to be on the lookout for is there is this sense of me seeing someone else play a game and instantly being like, well, now I want to play it myself, especially if it's a game that I've played in the past. But I realized that now that I have an audience, I don't think it's... It's not that I don't think it's right, but I think it's sort of like agreed upon to not directly ride the coattails of another streamer or YouTuber when they play a game, and give it like at least like a month or so. Because what comes to mind for me is like very recently I saw Grapefruit play The End Is Nigh. And I actually really liked that game. Ended up playing it all the way through. Did a bunch of the bonus stuff. Not all of it, because damn, that game is ridiculous. And I respect him for stopping when he did, because, yeah, that game gets ludicrously hard to the point that it kind of stops being fun after a certain point. But my immediate thought was, man, now I want to play that. But if I'm playing it, why don't I record it? But at that point, it feels a mite unoriginal. And I am nothing if not a stickler for originality, so I may as well stick by my own morals in that regard. I get the feeling that these levels are going to be the hardest levels. There's less freedom to roll around. Even though I technically have a whole axis to work with. God, I just got an achievement called Yo Dog, I heard you like power-ups. I could never tell if that joke was supposed to be an Inception thing, or if it kind of just got rolled together with Inception when the movie got popular. Because the version of that I always heard was, Yo Dog, I heard you like dreams. So I put dreams in your dreams so you could dream while you dream. And then that sort of got, I always assumed that sort of just got adapted to a bunch of different formats, as memes tend to do. But I never knew for sure if that started as an Inception thing. I gotta say, after having messed around with the soundtracks of these games that PopCap made, and trying to record like good versions of them to upload, I have a newfound respect for PopCap on the musical side, because so many of them use dynamic music in the latter half of their lifespan. Maga Maga, Witch Doctor. The shaman controlled 2 slave tikis who guarded him day and night. So long as they stood, nothing could harm him. Gee, I wonder what the gimmick is for this fight. Ah. There we go. Ooga, with a helping of booga sauce. My slave tiki's completely flopped on the job. Where did all my magic go? Rivet. I have to wonder how difficulty scaling works with games like this. Because of course there's the closest thing I got is the 4-color map theorem. But that only really works in 2 dimensions. This is only really operating on 1 dimension, because you just got the static line. And the only collisions are to the left and the right of the current ball. So I have to wonder, at what point does a level become nearly unbeatable just by adding new colors of balls? I keep wanting to say pegs, but they're not pegs. That ability is kind of ridiculous. Also, I realize I always thought of the frog as being named Zuma, but I think Zuma is supposed to be the name of the Tiki temple. But after this, if I'm doing my math right, the game after this is probably going to be my favorite game that I do for this sort of series, because it has by far the kookiest backstory. Not sure if I'll finish it, but I will absolutely play it. Oh, come on. Oh! Did not know that was a feature. There is something very satisfying about Zuma when you get to that later stage where it's not super chaotic and you're just acting like a sorting algorithm. It makes me wonder why PopCap never really capitalized on this series after being bought out by EA. Because with every other moneymaker in their catalog, EA tried to do something with a mobile game or another installment or something. The closest that we got with Zuma was Zuma Blitz, which petered out pretty quickly when everyone realized how much of a fad Facebook Live service games were. Which, that is a whole graveyard that I, unfortunately, am not going to be able to explore because, you know. For one thing, I don't have a Facebook account, and I don't think I ever intend to. On the other hand, most of these games straight up just don't exist anymore. And there's no way to play them at all. They're just forever lost to time because, this is a question that I think is going to become more and more common as time goes on and as companies go under. How do you preserve a live service game for the sake of archival? You really can't. Like World of Warcraft, for instance. I think Blizzard is doing decently well right now, what with being acquired by Microsoft and having like some income, because you know they own World of Warcraft, they own Hearthstone, they have means. What would happen if Blizzard were to go under entirely? Would World of Warcraft just be forever lost to time? Would there be any way to experience WoW besides just like getting into like reading entries on the wiki? But that applies to so many different games, and we've seen examples of that happening already. Like Multiverses. Multiverses, to my understanding, is down until the game launches in early 2024, and until that point, you cannot access it, and there is no way besides YouTube videos to find out what the game was like. So suppose that Warner Brothers Games just completely abandoned ship and closes down the servers permanently. Then what? It's not just that all that work was... It's not just that all the work is now gone. No one can find any evidence besides YouTube videos that any of that work even was done. It's just completely lost to the ether. And that's the unfortunate truth with a lot of these Facebook's live service games as well, is that, like, why would there be an archival effort to preserve a Facebook live service game? But at the same time, is there any way to preserve it once it's gone? It's a weird sort of double standard. That there's no way to play them once they're gone, but while they're alive, there's no reason to preserve them. I don't know. Makes me happy that I've been able to find the games that I've been able to find, because these games were actually available for purchase and weren't live service bullshit or what have you. And thankfully, from what I've heard, there are people who have made mods for Plants vs. Zombies 2 and that kind of stuff to remove a lot of that like live servicey functionality and make it a standalone game that can be preserved and can be modded. And that's commendable, because in the event that Plants vs. Zombies 2 is no longer supported by EA, which is a definite possibility at some point, I'm not saying EA is magically going to go bankrupt overnight, but that kind of stuff happens all the time, where, especially on iOS, when you have to make constant updates to your game to keep up with the latest iOS version, a lot of companies will just say fuck it when their game stops making money and stop supporting it, and from then on, there's no real way to access it anymore. Like, there was this awesome game that I remember playing. It was I think it was called Galaga. It was like 20th or 30th anniversary collection. I don't remember what year Galaga actually came out. 30th anniversary collection sounds right. But it was this super modern, arcadey version of all the Galaga games. So there was a version for Galaxian, for Galaga, for Gapless, and for Galaga 88? 87? I don't remember the last one. And it was baller. It was genuinely really cool. And it's gone. You cannot play it anymore. At a certain point, I was like, damn, I wonder if this game is still even playable. Tried to boot it up, and the dimensions of all of the images were wrong, all of them. So the game was completely unplayable. Then I checked back a few months later, and it's completely removed from the App Store for the reasons that you would probably expect. Just that whoever, Namco or whatever company under Namco's umbrella that was working on the game, just decided that it wasn't worth it to maintain anymore. And honestly, I mean, thinking back to Yik for a second, because that game is thought-provoking, in a way. Even though the guy that you find at the beginning of the game who talks about magazines, even though it is just an unfunny jab at Kickstarter, what he's attempting to say is important. That if the internet were to disappear tomorrow, there needs to be some kind of a way to keep everything from just disappearing forever. I just wish that kind of a message was stored inside of a better game. But hey, you can say that about a lot of things in EA. That was slick. Ah. Aww. The other thing that kind of bugs me about why this game isn't why Zuma wasn't continued at all is that, to my understanding, Zuma was made under the first-party PopCap IP. Because a lot of the games, I have like side listings on the spreadsheet where I credit these other companies that were companies under PopCap's umbrella that made games for them that aren't necessarily owned by PopCap proper, and aren't owned by EA nowadays either. Like the biggest example I can think of is Chuzzle. Chuzzle is one of the quintessential PopCap games. In the modern day, it's not even owned by PopCap. It's owned by Raptosoft, or John Raptos. And there are... Oh, I like the... I didn't know you could do that. There are, like, modern versions of Chuzzle out on the App Store that are, like, mobile... what you'd expect for a mobile version of Chuzzle in the year 2019, I think, is when the most recent one came out. But... from what I've heard, they're very solid. And they're also just not EA properties at all anymore. Oops. Come on, there you are. I gotta say though, I kind of miss the old music. And I know this is like a funky remix, but I still miss the old music. Damn it. Hang on, let me minimize OBS so I don't keep clicking out of the window accidentally. still find it so funny as well that... Again, talking about Suits. Or talking about Suits, talking about Yick, talking about my indie RPG experience so far. It is hilarious to me that despite all of Suits' flaws, I still consider it to be the best indie RPG I've played. And maybe that changes... Barandigo, Cannibal Idol. No arrow could pierce his stony hide, but even so, wicked Barandigo cut up his soul and hid it in the rib cages of his victims. Oh my god. It's a shooting gallery, basically. I win a prize! That was such an easy fight. You beat me so hard I forgot my own name. And I was really attached to it, too. Someday, some way, I'll make you pay. Ribbit. Damn, we haven't even been going for an hour. I love the 3D model of a mango. That is fun. Oh, come on. I am still kind of wondering what the first edited video I make is going to be about. Fully edited, may I add. Because as much as I want to make something that's super, like, high production value, super, like, I don't want to say over-edited, but very well-edited. Because over-edited would be something like the montages in Soundsmith's Man's Guides. That would be over-edited. Where it's just everything is just a slurry of meme sounds and very satisfying sequences synced up with music. But not only do I not think I would really be able to do that with grace, it also just, I don't know. Something about it just wouldn't really fit. Like, don't get me wrong, that little pilot montage that I made to test the video editing software did fire off my dopamine receptors something fierce, especially since I was looking at it like, damn, I made this. That's pretty cool. But I looked back at it after and I was like, well, is this really the kind of edited video I would want to make if I were to make an edited video? And the answer is probably no. It was a fun experiment, but it doesn't really fit the tone of my stuff. Now, the question becomes, do I do a major tone shift? Would that be interesting? Might be interesting to others, but I kind of like I like how laid back the vibe is that I've sort of set up. Because in a lot of ways, I don't like how hyper the internet is nowadays. And I can say that because I was around in the older days of the internet. And it sort of cuts both ways, because on one hand, I love how much more accepting the internet is now, because the internet is no longer populated by, well, gremlins and racists. And to the same extent, there are certainly still people. And people certainly still do things, but there are definitely less of them than there used to be. Or at least they're quieter. But due to the proliferation of certain things, I mainly blame TikTok myself, but maybe I have a feeling that there's other things to blame alongside that. TikTok is the standout example for sure. People just genuinely have lower attention spans. It's sad. God, this is one of those levels that just makes my eyes cross. There's a lot going on here. Oh, come on. Oh, come on! Right at the end. And that resets the entire level too, fuck. That's sad. I also realize I'm getting fatigued because I've been looking at this for like an hour. Maybe closer to an hour and a half. I haven't checked the time in a bit. That's better. How do you like wasps? No, it hasn't even been an hour, Jesus. A double gap shot. Let's go. Something else that is kind of unfortunate as well is that, I mean, I immediately gravitated towards TikTok as the primary offender for attention span deficit. But it's not just TikTok's fault, it really isn't. There's so many different social media sites that all point fingers at each other and say like, oh, you're the reason why everyone's attention span is so low, and then continue to do the exact same things that, you know, cause attention deficit. Let's go, we're not gonna change. Clearly you guys are the ones that are causing this problem. Suddenly it becomes a partisan issue of, oh, well, which one do you like better? Do you support TikTok? Do you support Twitter? Facebook? I don't even mean partisan like political parties. It just, after a certain point, it just turns into, what social media site do you like better and which one do you like the least? Also, I smashed that level, oh my god. This level looks like it's going to smash me, especially with rolls like that to start with. Yeah. I think I'm going to go until the end of this world, because I can definitely feel myself getting tired. Oh god, the Moai slide. This is going to be rough. Easy right now, but once that second layer gets filled, things are going to get really tricky. Unless I can manage to beat this level without the second layer filling, but that doesn't look like it's happening. Also, if at any point I get a trick shot and your first thought is, wow, how the heck did he get that? It was probably an accident. I'm not going to pretend that I am a god at this game. I am kinda operating on autopilot right now while I try and think of things to talk about. So if I do something cool, I only like half mean to do it. Okay, there we go. Yes, tri-shot's fun here. Something else that I noticed that, I mean, I mentioned a bit ago that I started watching more of Holatone's streams. Something that is I've realized that it's kind of disturbing is the sheer number of people who are computer science majors who have hard pivoted into streaming full time. It's very eerie. And now I mean, I hope I find a job, because otherwise that seems to be the way the wind is blowing. Provided I can find a way to actually make this into a career, which maybe I do, maybe I don't. It's hard to tell at this point. I'm kind of just doing this. At the moment, I'm kind of just doing this because I think it's fun. I like making videos, I like archiving games that no one else has heard of. It's just fun and satisfying to me. They say don't let your passion be your job, but I mean, if I could do this for a living, that'd be pretty great. Now, granted, what steps would I have to take to make sure that I could do this for a living? That is a whole world that I have not even scratched the surface of how to make videos. I'm getting pretty decent at it. How to make money, that's a completely different question. Something else that keeps like bubbling to the top of my subconscious whenever I think about, oh, doing this for a living. Well, the question then is, why do people watch my videos? And this is a question I've sort of pondered this for a while. Kolo Kamari, mosquito god of pestilence. The vermin of the island god drained the blood and life of their prey. Only a great blast of fire and noise could drive the demon away. Oh, this is gonna be weird. This is going to be really hard. Wait. Okay, one. Damn it. This is really hard. Oh, come on. There we go. Wow, okay, this is significantly harder. Oh, come on. Bad time for a teleport. Nice. Oh, okay. Oh, bad time for slow-mo. Oh, come on. Come on, move, move, move. Nice. Oh, come on. I'm getting better at hitting these while statused, at least. Makes this a little bit easier. At least it's hard to lose, because there's so many explosives. Okay. One more hit'll do it. That'll do it. I threw every insect in the book at you, but you exploded me in no time flat. Beat it, frog. Go swimming, why don't you? Time 106. Okay. Oh god, there's 6 zones. You know what? I think I stop here. There might be more than 6 zones even. This was fun though. I quite liked this. Next time, we got a game you might not expect. And that's all I'm gonna say on the matter for now, but it's a fun one. It's probably, story-wise, it is probably my favorite. And I don't mean story like the game's story. I mean the development story. More on that later though. Thanks so much for watching.